Hi everybody, I'm doing a session for a client, so I'm going to be sharing psychic wisdom and energy healing. If any of you are interested in exploring a session with me, you can do so at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. All right, I want to thank you so very much for the opportunity to connect with you today. Thank you so much for sharing with us here on YouTube. I am so interested in these goals. Okay. I'm going to read them out loud. I would like for you to project yourself into my past lives in Egypt, please. I'm open to hear any messages and advice from that aspect, my past self. So I'm going to talk to the you that's from Egypt and then see what that you wants to tell the you that's in the future. This is going to be so cool. I love this. Okay. So you say, my memories from Egypt have been surfacing in my dreams quite often lately. I'm full of curiosity about what will come out of it. I've had stagnant pain in my neck that's presently causing discomfort. I'm of the personal belief that the metaphysical reason of pain in the neck is often from taking on burdens not yours to bear. Will you please clean and dislodge esoteric connections that do not serve my highest and greatest good? Totally. All right, just give me a moment here. Past lives in Egypt. Talk to that aspect of yourself. Stagnant pain. Okay, next. I don't know why, I just feel like laughing. My heart's getting really, really bright. Okay. All right, I'm almost over the hump of the stagnant pain that's making me feel really happy inside. Okay, so now you say, if my higher self has words of advice of what in my reality I have not dropped that I still need to, or anything I have not already stopped or ended and still need to. It's been an intense year of releasing attachments that don't serve. Okay. What in your reality have you not dropped that you still need to? Super good request for, I mean, we're almost to 2022, so it's like cleaning up the loose ends before we cross the line of time, right? Now you say, I'm at a point in my life, it's easier to let them go. Okay. That's really good too. So looking to call in peaceful, compassionate, and serene energy for my soul family. Let's start the new year with fresh eyes and hope. Happy holidays and thank you. There's so much bright energy here just reading this. I just feel so much bright energy. Egypt, pain in the neck. Pain in the neck, okay. Higher self, words of advice, anything you need to let go of. Peaceful, compassionate, serene energy for the soul family. I love that. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. All right. Basically, there's a cornucopia. It's kind of like a seashell, like it's creating that spiral. It doesn't necessarily go to a point at the end. It's kind of like cornucopia. I know there's food, there's special things inside of it. It makes me think of this, like it's more like a bag. Like there's a circulating energy that goes in a spiral, but it's almost like there's something of abundance on the inside that it wants to give back. And it doesn't represent so much as time as it represents abundance. But I do feel slow. And there's a brown energy in the air. And it makes me feel slow. It makes me feel like I'm trying to get to the abundance in the cornucopia and I'm just running in place. Not even running, I'm just kind of slightly walking. I'm just kind of now just standing here looking at where I want to get to in the cornucopia. And now I'm just like sitting on the floor. This has to do with your third eye as well. We're going to get to Egypt. We've got to go through here first. Oh, there's something that isn't a good memory about Egypt. And it's pretty bad because when I say Egypt, what echoes back into me, like it hits me really hard in the face, and it's like a face that's made out of mirror, and then somebody like smashes the mirror and it gets cracked in every direction, and it's just a painful event, okay? It's not easy to actually see because I choose to open my eyes to see, and my eyes would prefer I not see. I prefer I not look, okay? Don't look at this. Do not see this. This is something that actually hit you emotionally hard, but it gave you kind of a wealth of things to reflect on. About, I guess you could say, the meaning of life. Wasn't easy, that's for sure. I mean, I feel like you would have died, but you didn't. You just awoke with the meaning of life, which wasn't exactly easy to digest. It's kind of like an unfair situation, vibrationally. It was just a not fair situation, but what does that teach you about the meaning of life? Life isn't fair? Gotta love that one. Okay. I cannot on my life see this. I'm like, we can see this, we can see this. And I open my eyes again and I say, we got this, because we're doing this together, you know. So something of yourself is really resisting wanting to look at this. And I'm showing that we gotta look at this one. And when we open our eyes, there's like a spike, and the spike is made out of like mercury, hardened mercury. Can mercury harden? But it acts like it, but it's a structure, and it pokes the eyes. It pokes us in the eyes. And when we don't allow it to poke us in the eyes, it'll only allow us to see just the very tip of something that wants to poke us in the eyes. So you can see the resistance on looking into this lifetime. I tell you, your soul's ready. Ah, is this a conversation about letting go? Okay, this is, okay, I'm gonna try to emphasize what that means. Your soul inside yourself is having a hard time looking at the pain of its memories, okay? Looking inside of experiences that were really hard. And it doesn't want to relive these memories. It doesn't want to relive them. And since it's choosing not to relive them, then they never happened. It's sort of like closing its eyes and saying, this isn't real. This isn't... They're asking me to slow down for a moment on this. The reason why is because something is shifting inside yourself and you're saying, I am big enough, I am strong enough to look. And there's lots of beautiful beings that suddenly appear, and they all look like pink flower petals. And they're really soft and really gentle. We're gonna have to go about this like a roundabout way, so it may not reflect like this happened in Egypt, okay? Because they're showing me a really dense, healthy forest. It doesn't make me think of Egypt at all. And they're showing me that there's trees that aren't quite like our trees. They're made out of something that would be like wood, but it isn't wood. It's more like metal. And the trees are like, go up to a point, kind of like a Christmas tree, but they have a different texture to them. And these trees start to look like really carefully sharpened arrowheads. And the tip top of these trees is extremely sharp. And we're on the ground of this forest, and it no longer seems to be made out of nature, but made out of something that is not natural, at least to us. But they say that it's more like a metal, or it's more like a rock. Just because it's not made out of leaves or greenery doesn't mean that it isn't of nature, okay? And you tell me that this is a cold place. There's no warmth here. And something of the vibration of this energy is causing you to feel dizzy and tired and like you want to fall asleep. And you're getting weaker just because you're feeling like instantaneously relaxed to the point you're just going to collapse. And something feels uncomfortable about this place. And I see little people in here, like gnomes. And these gnomes aren't necessarily with the right intentions. It's almost like they have some sort of control over the vibrations that move through these types of trees in order to trap life that waltzes on in here. And it's like you stepped into a trap, but it was a trap made out of vibrations and energy like that, moving through these unique trees. And I see you're passed out. I mean, you're good conked out here, and these they're made out of black, basically. They even have pointy hats. And they all just look very small, like little tiny gnomes, like little ones, like 4-inch tall with maybe a 2-inch tall hat. So like 6 inches tall, and they're made out of black. And they're running around like really quickly. It's like ants are made out of black, but they actually shine. They look like their outfit, their face, their skin, everything is made out of the same color. And they blend in with the shadows, is what they say. Doesn't seem like there's natural light here either. Almost like the sun is not a natural sun. It's almost like the light that you would get from a tanning bed or something. It just doesn't feel like it's a natural light. These beings are starting to become, they're actually surrounding you and becoming flat, and then they start to absorb into you, and they look like black freckles all over your body. And what's interesting is they're really cheerful once they're in your body. They're very cheerful and happy, and they start to communicate really quickly. Like there's like really fast communication with each other inside of you. What's interesting is they activate yet another vibration, and you appear in a completely different scene. And you're actually on kind of like a medical table in a room where medical things happen, okay? Where there's gonna be an inspection of your body. And nothing is done invasively with like knives. It's all done with energy and sounds. And somehow these beings that are inside you, there's probably, I mean, at first there definitely was like 15, 20, but I see like 8 major spots. And they have a way of sending signals through their own selves to activate different things in this room, which changes the vibration and changes the signals to interact with your body in a unique way. They don't let your soul leave your body either, because I check for that, and I see your soul is contained in the actual physical form. Your soul is encouraged to kind of deactivate, is the only way. It feels like your soul is not speaking at all. Everything is relaxing so deeply. These little gnome things are popping out of you as their bodies, and they're really tiny in a much larger room. I mean, it's a full-grown human room, and they're really tiny little things. They're this way for a reason. They're showing me how they work together as a team, and everybody has a consensus. So they have like a hive mind decision-making process. They all decide everything together, and there's not ever a disagreement, because any kind of disagreement is quickly they're always evaluating and deciding what is the most logical or the most convenient, or the most, like, whatever they decide is the right vibrational direction for how they all want to go. And they're very open-minded, but it's all quick. Like it's like instantaneous, went right through. It's like neurons in the brain. It's like so quick, done. They've already gone through every different conversation about this topic, and it's all instantaneously, like an instantaneous agreement. So they show me they jump on each other's shoulders in order to get to the top of this medical bed so that they can examine you. And they're showing me this for a reason. They also like being small, they say. And they show me they can do other fun things, like they blend together and create the shadows, where we think that it's our shadow, but it's actually them. They're kind of like that. They're doing repairs on your body. They're actually doing repairs. They're correcting things on your body. They show me they have little miniature tools that something of the vibration of the room is to help you to stay in a state of being conked out, basically, with your soul still in your body. That's really important to them. No, there's no vibrational movement. You're completely like a dead weight, okay? You're completely conked out. Like, I don't even experience any vibrations from your brain or your heart. But you're held in a state of stillness, complete and utter stillness. And they're using smaller devices, and they're doing something on your wrist right now. It's really interesting, the types of little corrections that they make. They show me what they're doing is, like, let's say you're let's say you're a really beautiful poem, okay? And there's a couple of words that weren't spelled right, or maybe we want to realign the way the poem is actually written, so it's more like, I don't know, it has a pretty way that it's written on the paper. Maybe it makes a shape or something. So they're kind of moving things around and and correcting a few small misspellings, okay? So they're showing me that there's you, and you're like a poem, and they're correcting some small things. And they make a joke about it because they look really small. Small people correcting small things. I'm starting to feel more comfortable around them. It's almost like they work in mysterious ways, and they're very odd. But that doesn't make them bad, you know? Before you know it, you're awakening back where we left off in those strange trees. And there aren't any strange trees at all. It's all dissolving. And you're in a new scene, and basically there's all this electricity just rolling through you everywhere, and you're basically the nucleus of this major energy event. And there's a lot of blue energy at your heart chakra. It's really beautifully blue, and it's alive. It's a living energy, like it's its own star. Your arms are above your head, your legs are spread out, and all this electrical energy is just moving through you. And you're in a sphere shape. You're extremely tired. And I feel like we're returning to the cornucopia scene. And you completely blacked out whatever just happened. I mean, it seems like you've blacked out a section of time. You have no interpretation of what happened during that time. You have no memory of it at all. And I show you what I saw took place during that time. You say, no, those were not gnomes. Oh, what were they? You kind of, you don't say anything positive about it. You kind of tell me that they were alien beings, basically. And that you didn't give them permission. And they just decided they were going to do this. And I see that this part of you turns into a piece of paper and it actually peels off of you and falls to the ground. And then it's as if we never had this conversation. And I ask you if you remember what just happened. And you say, what? And I show you the gnomes and the trees. You say it doesn't matter. You say, I'm just going to trust in everything. I'm just going to let everything flow. If the gnomes were there, then they were there for a good reason. Whatever that reason may be. Whether that creates more conflict or more serenity, I'm just going to trust in everything that happens in my life. I know my higher self is guiding me, you say. I say, what do you think about Egypt and past lives? Oh. All right. Boy, this is complicated. So, again, I get hit with that smash in the mirror and the pokes in the eyes, and everything becomes a really quick scribble on the screen, okay? Scribbling on the screen. And I say, no, I'm not going to put up with this. And I take your hand and I basically, in a way, pick you up and I push you through this kind of a black energy door. And I say, we're going to open our eyes here. And you say, no, we are not. I say, we already have. We've opened our eyes. We see clearly. Okay. All right, this is going to take some sleuthing. It's not your classic Egypt scene. It's again not humanly relatable. It's not humanly relatable. But this has to do with Egypt, okay? Because again, I see you taken to another space by beings that are, I guess you could say, more advanced than yourself. I mean, it's just, they have the ability to vibrationally change the energy, and you disappear from that dimension and appear in another dimension. Have we figured this out yet? We have not as of yet. So they have some things figured out that we have not figured out yet. And these beings then are representing as extraterrestrials and alien beings. Okay, they come from somewhere else. And I see this one, it's very odd looking, like has almost plasticky skin, and it's kind of it's like a grayish white plastic skin. And I don't know how to interpret its outfit. It also looks like it's made out of plastic, but it's doing something with your head. And I hear the echo of the gnomes saying that we're correcting the poem. And I see you are sleeping and dreaming of a very beautiful place. And in this place, it reminds me of Greece, to be honest, but instead of olive trees, the trees have really massive, like, apples that are blue, like blueberries. And they're full of these blueberry trees, but they're huge like apples, and they're hard like apples, but they look like blueberries. And you're picking them off the tree and you're eating them, and you're just dancing and twirling around, and you just feel so merry, so happy. I visit you in the dream, and I say that I show you what's going on outside the dream. And you giggle. And you say, oh, that's just silly. You tell me that, when I ask you again, you tell me that it's like, it's okay. You're not here to judge, kind of thing. I'm actually going to go into this being directly and see what it's like on the inside. This being definitely is asked to follow through from some other being, okay? So it's given orders in a way, it's given directions, and then it follows through on those directions. I don't feel like this being has a desire to think for itself or to decide for itself. It just takes directions and follows through on those directions. It doesn't have any emotional state. It doesn't have any desires. It doesn't have wants. It doesn't think about the past or the present or the future. It's not a robotic being, but you could say it's more like a robot because of that. I'm going to go to the beings that tells it what to do. Oh, there's lots of them. They're all standing, and they're kind of animal-like. There's many of them. There's hundreds of them in this space. And they do look reptilian. They look reptilian to me. Like standing upright with really dark green skin. And some of them have different faces than others, but they're pretty much all look reptilian. The thing that disappoints me about this is they're kind of... it's almost like they're playing a funny joke. It's like they're throwing a wrench in the system, and you're just one of their funny jokes. And I find that to be rude, you know, like that, because they're not vibrationally expressing the value of who you are, of your soul, of your life. You're just a tool in a way. I ask you, did you ask for this? You wanted this? You really want to go off planet, that's for sure. You want to go visit the stars. You want to do other things. You really want to go off planet. Is that what the pain in the neck is? Is that where it's coming from? Are those dreams of Egypt actually real memories? Are they real dreams? Are they like an after scent of some other interaction that's happening in Astral or something like this? Is that possible? My guys are just like, just like tell them that I'm pissed. I'm like, all you can do is be honest, you know. I'm really analyzing here, and I'm just trying to be a diplomat about it, but I'm angry about this. I asked them, is there an actual genuine point to this? And there's one that comes out and says, yes, there is. And then it is guiding me to the front of this room where these hundreds of these things are. And it's not like a space like we see physical reality. It's like an energy space. It's like made out of energy. And I see you actually talking, and you're giving a really incredible speech. And through you, there's a projector that is showing your soul in many of its lifetimes, many of its experiences. And you're talking about the meaning of life and what you've learned about life. And you're telling me, you're looking at me directly, and you have reptilian eyes, but you look like a human, and you nod and you say, yes, this is good. Yes, this is good, Abbey. Yes, this is good. And this comes from Egypt. This comes from Egypt. I say, so is this now? Is Egypt right now? Is this in the past? Is this not even happened yet? Like, it's all, you know, the fun of time, right? You just giggle and you laugh, and you start to emanate a light from your heart, and you send that light into every single one of these reptilian beings. And I don't feel that residue, that disappointment anymore. I don't feel like they're trying to throw a wrench in anything. It just, were they making a weird joke or what? They were all on the same page and vibrationally like sharing this weird joke. You tell me that you are accepting of everybody, and that not everybody shares the same genuine meaning, but you will always express genuine meaning. And you are wanting to express genuine meaning with these beings. And they have the right to interpret it however they want. I still feel there's something off because everything echoes back to your brain, and there's weird camera snapshots of a camera and pictures going, and it seems like it's lost the value of life force energy. It's more like just a snapshot. I'm just looking just at a photo. It doesn't give me anything more than just a single instance, and it doesn't really express any emotional value. It's just a photo. That's all it is. Even the photo itself doesn't really share anything with me, and everything feels like it comes to a halt, and just snapshots of images just come through your brain. And I talk to the gnomes again. And gnomes say our work here is done. And so I just pause them out, and I become all these gnomes, and I want to see what they're like on the inside. Very interesting. I create a doorway, and I see a man who is really crafty with technology. And he's working on an instrument that is extremely tiny, even has to use a magnifying glass to be able to see what he's doing. And he's putting in very tiny screws in a very tiny instrument. And I see that he works at a wooden table, and the wood is green. It's not painted green, it's actually green wood. And he shares these little tools with these gnomes. And his space is full of different sized tools. Like, some are huge and some are really tiny. I'm going to bring you into this scene, and so you're going to appear here with me. He says something like, close your eyes. And he also says something like, open your eyes, at the exact same time. Close your eyes, open your eyes. And again, I feel like I'm going back to that event in Egypt that we can't see. And it's somehow paralleling an event which feels like today of something that we can't see. And it seems like out of reach of our human perceptions of things. My guys say that it's okay. Everything, everything about the exchanges is totally in the balance, okay? It's all in the balance. They're really expressing that. I'm here trying to figure out what, I mean, I guess if I'm to take it back to myself, okay, so this is so far my sleuth work is what this is means to me. That you're having dreams about Egypt, but sometimes the dreams can be influenced by another event that's taking place, where you're actually in another dimension, in another space, and you could be going through like an astral experience where you're working with other beings, and you're part of some sort of experiment, or it doesn't seem like they're experimenting on you. It's more so they already know what they're doing, and they're just topping off their process. Okay, so you're just going in to get like your repairs or whatever, and they're just so I'm not able to get to Egypt, but I also feel like I'm gonna go to the pain in your neck. Okay, it's a mess. It looks like a giant, it's an egg, horizontal, and it's long, elongated. I see another strange being. He has like a whitish, grayish purple, okay? Very pale in color. And he has extremely tiny eyes and a big round head, okay? He does have a chin, and he has a small mouth and a small nose. He tells me everything is fine, and this neck issue is going to go away very soon. It's going to go away very soon. I asked my guys, like, okay, who's doing the work here? Like, this is for me to do the energy work, and all I'm running into is other things doing work on you. And I'm lost, man. I'm telling my guys, like, am I supposed to tell these beings to stop? Do you want them to be doing this? Am I supposed to help them? Like, I'm getting nowhere here on what I'm supposed to do with this. I say that that's not good enough to this guy. There's pain involved, and when there's pain involved, you're not, I don't feel you're doing a top-notch job. I personally don't. If you're a skilled worker, then there would be no pain at all. But there is pain. So you're missing something in your process. You're missing something. Again, there's that same weird attitude, like it doesn't matter if we screw up something because we can just fix it later, or it's some kind of rude, just like those reptilians. It just felt like everything was more of not taken seriously. It was just giving orders to something that it's like some funny thing that's just doesn't have a lot of brain, so they just have it do weird stuff, and then have it do weird stuff on humans, and they just think it's funny. That's what it's like to me, okay? I'm giving this my best shot as to seeing the benevolence in this. I just take him out of the scene. I take him out of the scene. I take you away from the reptilians. I take that other strange thing. I take you out of that scene. I'm taking you out of this scene in the forest. I'm getting rid of all of these scenes. We're just totally getting rid of them. None of them, I feel, none of them are actually propelling you forward. They're almost like getting you stuck on the same page of the chapter that you've read too many times, but it's just like they can keep planting seeds that everything's hunky-dory. I feel I need to see it from this angle. So I'm removing you from everything. They're not going to let me. All right, so where do we go from here? Okay. I'm going to combine the energies of everything I've seen into a single energy consciousness, and I'm going to see what that energy consciousness would like to say. He's I'm going up quite a long ways, pretty high vibrational space. High vibrational can be developed, doesn't have to mean benevolent, but it doesn't feel yucky, okay? It feels actually clean and tidy and interesting, like in a healthy way. And when I combine all the energies together, what it looks like as a being, as a single being, is it has a really blue skin, and it has a white beard and white hair, and it's like soft fur. It's like really luxurious, silky hair. It's wonderful to touch. And he looks like a Smurf because of his blue skin and his white, but his beard is really long, okay? And he's he's under 6 foot. I would say maybe 5'5". He's on the shorter end. He's male emanation. He has a big round nose. Like, he has a bigger nose. He's very gentle and very calm and collected. He shows me that in the universe there are many things happening simultaneously, and that all the dots will have to connect to everything that is happening. And where there's one offshoot here becomes the filler over here, and that everything is always in the balance. And sometimes when the balance is shifting or changing, it'll attract whatever it needs to attract to maintain that balance. Always, always. So there's never, ever a gap. Never, even the tiniest little bit, a gap. And he says that you're going through life with, it's very positive. It's kind of like, you're going through life with, like, you're going with the flow and you're trusting no matter what happens. And you're not going to take things to heart too much, that you're gonna not ask questions of things you can't really understand anyway. And you're not going to, it's like, you're not gonna let anything bring you down, okay? He shows me again the feeling of you're very tired. He shows me that there are repairs to be done. He shows me that your mind is tired. Your mind is calling out for help, for repairs. He's telling me that you are welcoming a medical elite to support a rebuilding of your structure. He's showing me that many are here to answer the call, and some we would define as like alien beings, others would be like mythical creatures like gnomes. He says that we're all interdimensional beings, we're all connected. He says that the more that you choose to experience everything as the highest vibration and the greatest good, the more aligned with that will always be. And the more that you can trust in every experience, which is only going to empower you that much more. And he's kind of like, if anything is amiss, you got to trust that that is amiss for the greatest good. You've got to trust that that is actually happening because it is for the greatest good. That's why it happened. And it is holding everything in the balance. And that you already know this. But you are asking that this pain in your neck do be released. Like, that's very loud and clear. And there's all these different beings that are answering your call for assistance. And I tell him, so what does this have to do with Egypt? Because does not reflect Egypt to me. He tells me to go to your neck again, but this time choose to see this as happening for the greatest good, okay? So I don't see it as a problem, I just see it as the greatest good. I keep, just a minute. Yeah. So I keep seeing it as the greatest good. And the strange being with the little eyes, the round head, he's showing me he's doing some work on the front side, but it has to do with your nose and your face. And it has to do with the energy as well. And the weird, and like he shows me little specks of dust in the energy field that he's just clearing out. And he does insist that that's why he wasn't, he knew that pain was going to subside, because everything always happens for the greatest good. He actually is smiling at me like he's doing angelic work to help you, as you'd asked. And that's why he's never concerned about something like that happening. I say, wow, this is the most curious thing. But when I choose to align with him and I choose to say that this neck pain is happening for the greatest good, I actually send light into it naturally. And then it actually sucks me inside of the neck pain, okay? And that means I'm inside of your neck pain for the greatest good. It's weird in here. It's full of keys. It's full of golden keys. I mean, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Golden keys are everywhere. There's too many. It's like creating clog. There are too many keys. I can't move around in here. I'm stepping on them. They're falling off the walls. The ceilings are everywhere. I don't even know what to do with these keys. They don't seem to hold any purpose. These keys create frustration. Then little beings start to appear here, and they look like, you could say, a dandelion that has aged, and the little puffball. So they look like little puffballs of light. And the puffballs of light come in and they actually polish all the keys and put the keys exactly back where they go. And I say, but aren't these keys part of what's creating the imbalance? As in, how am I supposed to describe this? If it's for the greatest good of all, then I can't define it as an imbalance. But I'm to create change here. All the keys suddenly become absorbed into me, and the space becomes the size of myself in the space. And I'm standing upright vertically. And I start to get squished through the skin, and I plop out. And what's inside all the keys, once they melt together inside of me, is a little version of yourself. And a little version of yourself comes out my solar plexus chakra, my emotional gut. And she says that she's tired. And I see that all of these scenes, you start to fall asleep. And as you fall asleep, it triggers a calling to do the work to help you. And beings from different dimensions, different personalities, do help you in their own way, okay? And all is happening for the greatest good. And I see you sleeping, and I see what is like scattered parts of you, also resting. And you say you feel blessed by everyone you've ever met, and everyone you will ever meet. And you're always going to be true to who you are, and you're always going to be genuine, and you're always going to represent what it is to be genuinely loving or genuinely understanding, genuinely like a golden heart, okay? Like a heart of gold. You have that caliber. And you say, I'm not going to rush the rest, like the resting phase. I'm not going to rush this. I start to see your dreams of Egypt disappear. And I start to see you being filled with memories of interacting with other beings very close to your physical presence, okay? Like very close to Earth, very close to the present day, like you're astrally communicating with other beings, you're bringing them into your energy field, you're working with them. And you're very lighthearted about it. And you're open-minded to different techniques and different styles. And you're not concerned about a single schmidget of it, okay? You're very, very content and you're excited about this. I say, so what do you need to let go of still? Anything you need to let go of? You just silently express. You talk to me in silence. You are expressing a communication through just speaking to me with silence, okay? Your language is silence, and you are speaking to me with silence. And the silence starts to fill everything we have seen thus far. And it starts to mold it and shape it into exciting new opportunities. And you want to help other beings in the universe. You want to help people on planet Earth. You want to help yourself. You want to have new discoveries. You want to have fun. And you're sending signals out in every single direction. I'm guided to talk to a different version of who you are. I don't know if it's from the past or from the future. What we would perceive. Aha. I see her, she's a reflection of you, and I see her as like a painting. And she's very feminine. She has very curly red hair. And she has a flawless skin complexion, and she is holding light in her hand. And she represents a figure that has made a historical imprint or impact in another civilization. And the civilization does similar things to us, like painting and colored glass windows and history books, things like this. And I see you as a communicator, and not in all lives were you able to speak. Some of them you communicated with your smile. Some of them you communicated with your eyes. And you even healed people by saying nothing at all. You just looked at them. That's all you did. And I'm shown that there's a child on a bed, and you actually look at this child, and you look at certain parts of the child's energy field, and you just gaze into those parts, and they start to dissolve like little specks of residue. Some of it's hard, some of it's liquidy, some of it's scribbly. You just gaze into this one. Looks like a little blue sphere, and it looks like maybe like a Cheerio type consistency, and it's just dissolving away. And they show me a child too that has like a broken leg, but it's pretty bad because I see there's an issue with the kneecap as well. And it just seems impossible. But you in your mind start to completely repair and rebuild the entire structure of the knee and the bones, the muscles, the tendons. And you show the body how it needs to rebuild itself. And you say nothing at all. You just use your eyes. That's all you do, is you use your eyes, and you sit next to the boy who's lying on a bed, and you just sit there for about an hour and rebuild his leg, basically. And you're well known. I mean, you are well known for this. And you're extreme, you don't ever speak. I don't know why, but I never see you speak. You always smile, and your eyes are your healing tool. You use your eyes to heal. And instantly I'm flung back to this Papa Smurf character with the really soft hair. Like, his hair is the best. I mean, I could just touch this hair. Like, yes, I like your hair so much. And he reminds me about instantaneous balance. So in one life where your eyes heal, your eyes will be taken away in some other life. Like, there's always these instantaneous balances happening instantaneously. So wherever in time it gets reset over and over. It could be overlapping trillions of times around, like every single instantaneous second. Like, it's always in the balance. He returns to being part of the spirit of everybody that is helping you. And they're astral beings. They're beings from other dimensions, okay? Even time. They show me some of these would be like from the past, some of them would be like from the future, some of them would be like from the present. And it's you that is sending the signal out, and they are hearing the signal, receiving the signal intuitively, and just knowing exactly how to follow through on that. And you are reaping the reward. You are welcoming and receiving of everything, knowing that everything is happening for the greatest good. It all is, always is. I see that this lifetime where you healed people was just absolutely cherished because you felt so free to, like, where people, it was just so much, like, no matter what they were going through, you would rebuild them. And you would reset their life instantaneously. Like, it just seemed like you were a miracle healer. And it was wonderful to help people so freely. We're gonna have to get into a dismal life, okay? I feel like we're gonna go into a dismal life. It's kind of strange because there's a broken building, and I see that this does not look like a familiar structure to me. Like, I don't know how to describe the material the building's made out of, but it is broken. And it also has plants growing on it, and they're kind of like mosses. And then there's red and there's green. And I don't feel like it's entirely safe for breathability. I don't feel like the air is entirely safe to breathe. I see. This is more like, okay, I feel vibrationally you're like a wanderer, but you have like 2 children, and you are looking for a place to live, or some sort of shelter or security, and you're just wandering and looking for those. And I'm not able to understand what prompted this process, but I see that you have to take refuge in a broken building, and there's mosses that are growing in here, and the air is not particularly safe to breathe, but you're not aware of this. And it starts to rain outside really heavily, and the raindrops are, it's almost like they could hit you like golf balls, like hail, but they're made out of water. What if the clouds in this world are way higher? Like, what if the rain falls I don't know, but this feels like it's unsafe to go outside when it's raining. Like, it could hurt you. The rain could bruise you. And you guys are hungry, and you see these mosses growing. You actually eat them. Huh. It's a really long time that you're in this building. You had no choice but to consume something. in order to sustain your life. And it's just still like it's raining outside. It's not safe to go outside. There's something painful outside, and it sounds like rain. It feels like rain, but it's more like sharp objects going through your skin, bruising you or going through you. You tell your children stories, and some of them are real and some of them are make-believe, and they trust you wholeheartedly. If you eat the moss, they eat the moss. If you feel like we can sleep here, they can sleep here too, because they trust you wholeheartedly. You're never going to leave this place, by the way. But you tell me that you made the most of what you had, and you felt grateful that you had shelter. And in a strange way, you received unique information from these mosses, and it's not like translatable to the mind, but something of it was given as a gift of memory for you, your kids, and maybe it was the memory of eating the mosses, but it seems like it comes from within the plant itself. Like the plant itself has a spirit, and you received the spirit even though something of this environment was the last place you would ever be. I'm not able to understand time. I'm not able to understand what happened in the end. All I know is you couldn't leave and you had to eat the moss, but you remained optimistic or lighthearted. You remained generously loving, no matter what the circumstance, and you felt blessed. I say, if this is supposed to be a dismal life, are you saying you felt blessed, or did you actually feel blessed? Yeah. It's nice to remain above some of the real raw realities of what was going on. When I go into this more, it's like it's again something that affects the mind. I feel like this whole journey's been about the mind or the brain, or repairing, using eyes to heal, eyes that don't want to open, eyes that are poked out, you know, interesting reflections about time. This moss seems to have impacted the mind, like breaking down the mind. And I see nightmares, I see restless sleep, I see starvation, I see inability to leave, I feel trapped. I feel like I have to constantly maintain a sense of laughter and lightheartedness, even if every part of me is withering and dying from within. I can't ever let my children see that this is not a safe environment. I have to always give them that gift of having something to believe in. If they could believe in anything, just believe in me, and I will maintain my light. There's vomiting, there's sickness that's happening here. There's a feeling of cold, no warmth. It's starting to feel like a dismal end. And you don't ever want to break down. You don't ever want to cry about it. You never want to give in to it. I say, why can't you just acknowledge that it was really that hard? It almost seems like you need to have a collapse. What if your children could have helped you get through this, but you didn't let them help you? You just carried all the burden and tried to protect them, but really you were just protecting yourself from your kids ever having to see the torment you've been going through. one of the children is a girl, and she comes to you and she hugs you, and she says she never blamed you. She loved having you as her mother. You have a harder time when you look at this boy and he has no inability to look at you. You struggle to look him in the eye because you feel like you failed him, like you let him down. You let them down. He asks you if you will let him hug you. He says that he wants you to explore the difference between being strong and then breaking down and crying. It's like sometimes a strong structure has to break, and then we open the door to others. It's like there's got to be a healing process. Like as we break, we rebuild. Strong and weak. As the strong becomes weak, the weak becomes strong again. And he wants you to think about that. It was okay to express weakness. Even to your children, it was okay to express weakness. And you did never want to do that. But they already knew inside themselves that this wasn't a good situation. But they just loved you and allowed you to be the strength that you wanted them to have, as well as yourself. And you upheld that sort of identity. Even though you didn't feel that way, you expressed it that way. Something of this changes you, and you can look a boy in the eye and he hugs you like wholeheartedly, and he asks you to know that it's safe to let him into your heart, to help you when you feel like you're struggling with strength and weakness, and to let him help you. And the little girl says that she's here to always be the sunshine. And it's almost like her true heart is always lighthearted. And she's not quick to worry. She's very innocent in that way. And she just wants you to smile, that's all. She would only ever want you to smile. And if you were to confess you were having a hard time smiling, then she would do everything in her power to help you smile again. And you thank her for that. And I suddenly see this broken building and all the moss, it's all breaks. Like I hear a breaking sound, it all cracking and breaking. The rain goes away and the sun comes out. And I see that this was all just some sort of, it was like a simulation of challenge for all of you to try to decide how you would work through it. And you've even broken down this challenge now through this session just by talking about it and reliving it and re-exploring it. Was it a past life or was it a simulation of a lifetime? And maybe it happened just now, just right now in this journey. Maybe it is in the past, maybe it is in the future, maybe it was just simply a gift for your soul to explore these concepts, these feelings with souls that are like these souls, to help you heal, to help you grow, to help you with everything you're going through. And I see you rising up into the sun, and I see you sleeping in the sun, and you look very peaceful. It's neat because you're talking about giving love, sharing gift with your soul family, And you have all of these beings that are helping you in their own ways. And you're just trusting in the process. And this is all soul family stuff. Like, there's a reason why they hear your call, you know? They're the perfect balance for being a part of the perfect balance of you. You know what I mean? Like, and you're the perfect part of them being in the balance with themselves. You know, like, everything is a perfect part of balance for everything else. And that's like a soul family. It's very enriching. All right, that's your session. Man. Well, I did my due diligence. I'd be curious to see how this process is for you. I just have so much to think about right now. Just wrapping my head around all the different beings that we're interacting with and don't always realize, and all the strange things that can happen while we're sleeping and don't even know that they're happening. And it's this interesting idea about when we have an ache, it is part of the greater good of all for us to have that ache at that time. And when we let that ache go, then we reorganize our balance so that it includes some other ache or completely no aches or new friends in our life or whatever it amounts to. You know what I mean? It was neat to see that being so confident in how the balance is. But how would we as human beings really relate to that? Imagine going to the hospital and you need a heart surgery, and the surgeon is doing your heart surgery, and there's an issue somewhere else, and they say, well, it's all part of the balance, so it's just going to just work itself out. I think people would say, no, I don't agree with that. If it's a part of the balance, it's going to be a part of what feels right, feels good, feels healthy, feels genuinely in balance. Not a concept of a balance that is hard for our human minds to wrap our heads around, but something that is reflective of good, a good feeling, a good vibe, you know? But it was just so confident. And the way he was healing you was with energy. So this other energy is just like, it's almost like you could say it's just releasing itself in its own divine time. And when you choose to say, I can help you release by releasing you myself, it's like allowing that consciousness to move on because you're ready for it to. And every little domino effect of this exchange was all part of the balance. All right, well, thank you very much for this experience. Thank you for sharing with others. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day.